James Mwangi.
Ray, pleasure.
Okay.
Have a seat in the middle.
Yeah, thank you.
So today, of course, is Thursday. It is the 5th of January 2012, coming up to 7:15 on your best mix of music. And of course, like every Thursday, we do the Chalbi Desert. So given the fact that it's a brand new year, we thought we'd start with some really high-profile individuals. Very good morning, Mr. Mwangi.
Morning to you, Lisa.
How are you?
Very well.
Yeah? Are you usually up at this hour?
Yeah.
Really?
We're usually in the office 7:15.
7:15?
7:15.
And how long have you been at the office for 7:15? Has it been a long ritual, or is it something you just thought?
Long period, for the last 23 years.
Last 23 years.
Yeah.
All right, for those of you who don't know who's in studio, I'm going to let him introduce himself. So tell us who you are, what you do.
Dr. James Mwangi, the Chief Executive of Equity Bank, and also serves as the Chairman of Vision 2030 Delivery Board.
Okay.
So on a day-to-day basis, is empowering Kenyans so that they can help turn our economy and change their lives.
Okay, so Chalbi Desert is usually where we talk about, try and get to know the man behind the institution, behind the organization, and just see if we can touch on your personal life a little bit so we can all get to the heights that you have achieved. But before we do that, I know there's some very interesting things that Equity Bank is doing, and one of them, of course, is the Wings to Fly initiative. Right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that before we get into the more personal nature of this interview.
Thank you very much. This is an initiative that we are availing full scholarships to gifted kids but who are disadvantaged and are not able to make it to Form 1. So we pick them immediately after the exams and educate them for the 4 years.
Right.
This year, a part of the 10,000 scholarships we are giving, this year we are giving 20 scholarships to every district. And I would like to appeal to the public, anybody who knows a child who has done very well, approximately 350 marks, and they will not be able to go to Form 1 because of financial need.
Right.
That is the child we are looking for. So in total, we have 2,200 scholarships this year.
Wow.
And this is an initiative that after learning the lessons of sponsoring the best girl and the best boy to the university, where we now have 1,200 very well performing kids, we thought of doing it now to a secondary level.
Secondary level.
Absolutely.
So starting the game early a little bit, making sure.
Absolutely. We realized that while sponsoring to university, we were losing those who couldn't transit from free primary to the paying secondary. And we said, why don't we reach out at this? Because these will be the social transformers.
That's a very good way. I mean, I've been watching the growth of Equity. Of course, it's been described as exponential in the last couple of years, from a very small bank to suddenly a bank with branches in every major city, little towns, wherever you go, there seems to be an Equity Bank there. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
And so we're going to talk to Dr. James Mwangi a little bit about who he is. You get to know the man behind Equity Bank. So keep it here for Chalbi Desert. It's 7:18. It is your best mix of music. And of course, you have questions. You can text them to 8984. Put them up on Facebook. We're Capital in the Morning on Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter, so you can tweet your questions to us at 984 in the morning. The 5th of January 2012. If it's your birthday, by the way, a very happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great day with many, many, many more to come. So, yeah, let's hope this new year starts on a high for you. Joining me in studio this morning, Dr. James Mwangi, and we talked a little bit about his role at Equity Bank and a lot of other things that he does as well. But before we go any further, let's just say that the hard part now begins, as I indicated earlier on. So let's talk a little bit about you. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I was born up in rural Kenya on the slopes of the Aberdares. That was back in 1962.
Okay.
So at independence. And I grew up like any ordinary children of that era, grazing herds of cattle and sheep.
Right.
Going to a primary school barefooted until secondary level.
Did they throw you out of school before being barefoot?
Absolutely. That was the norm.
That was the norm.
At that time.
See, I like that idea.
Yeah, and so learning around with the rest of the boys.
Very
so
good.
early level of education, then moved again to the district secondary school, eventually ending up at the University of Nairobi.
Okay.
And that basically brought the basic level of education. Before then I ventured to that. So basically, it's ordinary Kenyan life.
So you're a doctor. What doctorate do you hold?
I've really been privileged to be awarded 5 PhD.
Five only. Really? Just 5.
Doctorates, all based on recognition of work that we have done at Equity Bank. So most of them are honorary.
Very good. So, I mean, you grew up in the Aberdares, and you've seen Kenya grow, through independence, through Moi, through President Kibaki.
And Kenyatta initially.
And Kenyatta initially, yes. So, your thoughts on our country as it's developed?
Yeah, phases of disappointment along the way, phases of excitement, and basically it appears we seem now to have identified what has been ailing our country for all those near 50 years.
Right.
And basically we seem to have addressed them using the Vision 2030 three-pillar pronged strategy. We deal with politics, deal with our economy, and deal with our social aspects as a society. So I hope eventually we have been able to address the ills that have kept us low and down for many years.
So you have great faith in the way our country is heading, and great, in the direction we're heading. You think that finally now, as Vision 2030 progresses, as our infrastructure grows, we're heading towards a bright future for our country?
Yeah, the signs are positive, but there's still a lot for us to do as a people. I don't think the biggest challenge with Kenya will be on infrastructure or the economy. It is our behavior as a people. We really must get our act together, particularly in what you could call national norms. We must say these are what we will be known for. These are the behaviors Kenyans should be known for. This is the types of values we value in Kenya, and they become standards. We address that, the social transformation of society, then we'll do very well as a country.
Talking about social transformation, who are the people who you admire the most? Who has inspired you? Who do you look at and go, yeah, you're my mentor?
I have been inspired a lot by Nelson Mandela, particularly from a personality perspective. As a person who moves out to pursue a vision, a purpose that is larger than himself. And once it is accomplished, he says, that was the cause I was living for. It was not my cause, it was the cause of the people. And despite his achievement, he remains a very humble, down-to-earth personality.
He is very humble. And he's got a very calm and peaceful aura about him.
Absolutely.
One that we can all aspire to, especially in the light of Man United losing their matches. What about hobbies? What hobbies do you, banking obviously takes up a lot of time. You must do a lot of reading. What else do you do to, take time off? Do you play golf?
Take a bit of time enjoying our fauna and flora.
Okay.
I'm addicted to our game parks, really watching animals and following animals. And of course, I like a bit of my gym, particularly the treadmill.
Okay.
I really enjoy that every morning to keep fit.
Right. All right. So as somebody who's looking at the economic structure of our country, who's looking at nation building, what is your hope as we progress? If you had one thing that you could, you mentioned social growth within the country, but if you were to tell our youth, what is the one thing you would like to say to them because they're the emerging force for our country?
I think for the youth, I would really appeal for their resilience. I would appeal for their patience. Transformation takes a little bit of time, and lastly, I would appeal for delayed gratification. They must invest if they want a better future, and they must bear the pain today if they want a better future. So delayed gratification is what I would recommend for our youth.
Okay, so you told me that you love our national parks, etc. As you travel outside our country, what is the dream place in your mind? It's the one place you'd love to visit.
I've widely traveled, but asked that question, I would say, let me go to our parks.
Just to the parks. Keep it local.
It's a wonderful park. We have a wonderful nation that we all should appreciate. I don't think there is any country that I've seen as beautiful as our country. And the variety of scenic beauty, the wild drive, the beaches.
You need to get a job with KTB.
Mountains.
You need to go to KTB and say, you know what, I'll be the spokesperson for our national parks. You hire me. All right. right, so talking to Dr. James Mwangi this morning, I've got a couple of questions coming in for you, which we'll pose in just a little bit. Of course, if you have any questions on the Chalbi Desert this morning, feel free to email breakfast@capitalfm.co.ke, or you can get in touch via 8984. We'll talk to him a little bit more about who he is, and if we were to dump him in the Chalbi Desert, what his last meal would be like as well. And then, most important, the question that everybody looks forward to is the hot air balloon question. So keep it here for that. Some J. Cole coming your way. It's 31 minutes past 7. A very good morning. 4 boys.
4 boys.
What happened to the girls?
The girls didn't come.
They didn't come. So
But
now
hopefully, in the fullness of time, I'll have another 4.
you'll have another 4.
Absolutely.
And your children, are they all here?
Oh, no, they're all in the U.S.
Okay.
They are now between the age of 19 and 26.
Wow. So what are they all? Are they all at university
They're
now?
all in universities.
Very good.
Yeah.
And was there any, as you were, one of the biggest things as you have boys, being a father, you have to, really mentor them, but there's also where you have to be quite strict with boys, like my dad just lost the plot there completely. I think he gave my brother too much leeway, but I think every sister feels that. But what was your, as when you had your first child, what were your thoughts? Were you scared? Were you...
Of course, the responsibility scares every young man or every young woman that here comes now, things have completely changed.
Yeah.
Responsibility has dramatically increased. But then you constantly worry about the upbringing of kids, because your kids really reflect who you are.
Right.
So you always tend to really worry about the legacy you leave behind, as depicted by the lives your children will live.
And what is the one piece of advice you hope your children will take away? If there was one thing that they remembered you for, what would it be?
I think what they will remember me for most is friendship and freedom.
Okay.
They have really got a friend beyond a father.
Okay.
And they have the space that they can speak their mind, and they can interrogate me on anything that they
Very
think
nice.
should be. Yeah.
So you're not dictatorial.
Not dictatorial, because you lose it.
Yeah, with 4 boys, I think you might just come second.
You are the minority. You build consensus.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So in the Chalbi Desert, if if you were to have a last meal, what would it be? What would your last meal be?
The last meal will be something that will sustain me, something I really enjoy a lot, and that is chapati.
Chapati? Really? Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
A glass of milk?
Glass of milk.
Or would you like your Tusker? What would you prefer?
A glass of milk could do.
Glass of milk.
Would do.
Very nice and simple.
Yeah.
And if we talk about food, what is your biggest indulgence? If you think about it, is it...
I think I indulge a lot on irio, which is a traditional Kikuyu food that is made out maize and beans and some vegetables.
Yeah, it's luminous green.
Exactly, luminous greens, particularly if it is made out of green peas.
Okay.
Yeah,
but what about general life? If we talk about it in general, what would you say? Because some people collect art.
Yeah.
Some people collect cars.
Yeah.
What would you say your biggest indulgence is?
I think I overindulge a little bit with the push for equity. I think that takes too much of my time, I realize. In terms of personal life, I think the collection of books, management books, I think I indulge a lot. I read quite a lot,
Really?
3 hours every day.
What are you reading at the moment?
At the moment, I'm reading the Ella of Unthinkable. We read an Ella where anything can happen.
Anything
So that's it. And before that was the Startup Nation, so Israel and entrepreneurship. So those are the type of books that I indulge a lot.
Okay, so if we were to dump you in the Chalbi Desert, as we are prone to do, and we'll give you a Bible, we'll give you the works of Shakespeare, so you can get a little bit of downtime, and everybody loves Shakespeare apparently. What is the one other book that you would take with you?
I think I would like to take an easy reading, and most of the easy reading will be something on fiction.
Something fictional.
Something that will take up my mind more,
Other
than very serious thinking.
Okay.
So that I can concentrate in the desert.
Okay. Yeah. So any names off the top of your head? Who are your favorite authors?
I would like some fictions, like particularly from West Africa.
Okay.
Basic books by those who are great writers, particularly on the transition of societies.
Okay.
Those really, yeah.
All right. So that's what he's like. And tell us, as you've seen your children grow, and you've talked about how the youth progresses. You've watched a bank grow from very humble beginnings to where it is now. If you were to give people one piece of advice in business, in terms of business, what would it be?
I would say patience.
Okay.
It has taken me 18 years to bring Equity Bank from number 66 out of 66 to the number 1 out of 43. So that 20 years shows the patience, the resilience that ones need in building enterprises.
Okay. So patience is slow and steady.
And of course,
further away.
complete addiction to the enterprise. And the
So
focus.
submerge yourself in.
Submerge yourself into it, total focus, really addiction to the concept, to the idea, and ultimately it will come around.
Okay, very interesting. Right, so one question from Dennis White saying, I wanted to ask Dr. Mwangi how someone with innovative ideas would take equity to the next level. So, you know, if people say, I have a really great idea for equity, can they get in touch with you? Is there somebody they can get in touch with?
The biggest department we have is innovation, and innovation is open both to the internal and external stakeholders in equity. So we would really love to get Dennis to come over a cup for coffee and give us an opportunity to shape equity. Equity is a creation of thousands of people who have had bright ideas like Dennis, and we have meshed them up.
So which office would they go to?
They would come straight to my office.
Straight to Dr. James Mwangi's office. All right, so that's all you need to do. You know where he is. Where do we find you? What building do we come to?
Equity Center in Upper Hill. But more importantly, I could say my cell phone is 0721 344 992.
344
992. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. You've got his personal cell number. Give him a call, not now, not while he's on air. Wait till he leaves, and then give him a call, and sit down, have a cup of coffee, because it's true. Innovative ideas take any business to the next level, right?
Absolutely.
All right, keep it here for the balloon question. Stick around for that, and we'll also, of course, ask him something people would be surprised to know about you. So food for thought in just a little bit. It's 7:43 right here on your best mix of music. 8984 on the SMS if you need to get in touch. Here's the one thing as somebody who encounters you or somebody at your bank would go, I didn't know that.
Maybe the basic one is that I spend 70% of my time serving on international organizations.
Really?
As opposed to Equity Bank.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are these organizations dedicated to?
I serve on the G20 on 3 advisory boards. I serve on the UN on 2 advisory boards. I serve on the external board of Bill and Melinda Gates. I serve on the board...
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
Yes.
And what do you do for them? Because I like them. They're a very philanthropic organization.
Yeah, I provide advice and views on financial inclusion and how they can use financial access to eradicate poverty in the world.
So equitable distribution of wealth.
Equitable distribution of wealth.
Very
and,
nice.
and inclusion, ensuring everybody have access to finance. I also serve on the external board of Visa worldwide, and the Initiative for Global Development, the organization that was set by the Obama administration.
Wow.
So quite a bit of those take, and I'm also on the advisory board of the African Leadership Academy in South Africa. They take quite a bit of my time on giving back to the larger society.
And what is when you sit on all these boards and you meet all these people who are doing so many things, and you have to advise them, you have to say, this is my suggestion for you. What factors do you take into account when it comes to talking about Kenya?
I think the most important is does Africa, because on those boards, most of them I represent Africa.
Right.
It's give Africa a voice. Is give Africa an opportunity to be heard and to be considered when other continents are being considered.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when, as we're always talking about ourselves as a developing country, and there was a time when we said, you know what, enough's enough, we want to be self-sufficient. Do you think there is a time when Kenya will be self-sufficient enough to stop asking for external funding?
I think it's just a question of time. If we continue doing the right things, I think it's just a question of time, because that is the path all the other economies have followed. We have seen them, particularly in the last 30 years.
Right.
The tigers of Eastern Asia taking the path. We were at the same level at independence, and now they have joined the league of the developed countries.
Yeah, because you look at how India's grown exponentially. You look
China.
at China, South Africa is
South
also
Africa,
emerging economy. Yeah.
exactly. So it's really a question of really let's get it focused. And the good thing now we have a blueprint. The question is we must be very good at flawless, timely execution. That is why we have been weak.
Flawless, timely execution. Let's hope that we can all adhere to that at some point. And, I like what you said, that the youth have to take their time, delay gratification, and just understand that our time, if we want our country to grow, and in turn, the youth will grow, youth empowerment will stem from that, we have to delay gratification.
And there must be the change that they want to see in the country. It's not going to be done by anybody else.
That is true.
Friend, it's them who will be the citizens. So that country they want to see into the future, let them start acting it today.
Okay. So now the question that everybody is on tenterhooks for, and you are on tenterhooks as well. Let me just put this out there before we ask this question. In terms of the people we choose, at this point, your wife has no claim on you. You're not married. You have no children. The people who we've chosen to put in the balloon with you, they're not married. They don't have children. You're just 3 individuals and you on that balloon, all right? So the 4 of you are in this hot air balloon off the Chalbi Desert. Remember, you have to marry one, you have to kiss one, and you have to throw one off the edge. So who have we chosen for you this morning? And I just have to put a disclaimer here that it is my producers, Kent and Danny, who've come up with these 3. So, I'm out of the loop here. Stella Kilonzo, we have, of course, she's definitely had to be there. You knew that was going to happen. Then we have Christine Legarde as well. And last but not least, Miss Chardingilo, Ms. Chardingilo, as Mr. Foot would say. So out of those 3, marry, throw, kiss.
What an unfair question. I'm privileged to have worked with all 3 in various capacities.
Right.
Well, the balloon is it's friendly people. Oh yes, when they are all friends, I don't know what to say.
Well, we have the CEO of the Capital Markets Authority, Stella Kilonzo. Would you marry her? Would you kiss her? Or would you throw her off the edge? You know what, at this point there's no political repercussions here whatsoever, because it's just all in the name of good fun. It's to see how cute your diplomacy skills are. It's putting you to the test like never before.
Well, I think I would be very, very sensitive to the feelings of my colleagues. Remember, we are just 3 of us in that balloon. I would choose not to marry, but to retain them as my friends.
No! You can't do that. You're trying to do a CK on us. CK said he would rather kiss all of them and jump out of the balloon himself. No. You don't have the option to jump out of the balloon yourself.
Yeah.
You have to choose. Yeah. You have to marry one. You have to throw one off the edge. You have to kiss one. Come on. Take the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Let's discuss a particular throwing off the balloon. It cuts close.
When you throw off the balloon, we'll gently put them on the ground. Okay, we'll give you that much. We'll just say, I'm sorry, you have to disembark.
Yeah.
So who would you disembark?
Well, I think then I would say let's first of all be Kenyans.
Okay.
So my friends already say, well, why don't we make this a Kenyan affair first?
Okay.
And foremost.
All right.
And we are left to the 3 of us. And
so you'd put Christine Lagarde on the ground.
Christine on the ground.
You tell her,
say,
why
let's
don't
make
you
it a
disembark?
Kenyan affair here.
Okay, so now between Stella Kilonzo and Charity Gilla, I'm not letting you get away with this. You gotta marry one, you gotta kiss one. And remember, you're a single man, life is just beginning. They're all, single too.
And remember what we have just said is that we are doing it the Kenyan way, the
so
African way.
you're gonna marry both of them.
So thank you very much.
I saw that coming. I have to say that you are a proper banker. You managed to, convolute the whole process and bring it to your advantage. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. James Mwangi. It's been a pleasure having you. And let's touch one more time on the great things that Equity Bank does. And of course, one of the things that has stuck out in our minds as we invited you to come here was the Wings to Fly initiative. So all you got to do is come over to Equity Bank. You've got 350 points or above.
You're not able to pay your school fees. You're not able to attend Form 1 because there's nobody to support you. Just walk up to the nearest agent,
right,
nearest branch, pick an application form, and we have a selection board of 12 in every district. They will vet, and the 20 most deserving will get a scholarship in every district. That is 2,200 scholarships out for grab in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, very, very good. Thank you so much. And given that the exam results have just come out, I'm sure that you'll get a lot of applications for this. And thank you very much for taking that step. And he gave out his phone number. So if you have any innovative ideas to grow Equity Bank, a truly Kenyan holding, 0721 344 992. Did I get that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
You can call Dr. James Mwangi up, have a chat with him, have a cup of coffee, and of course, let's take things to greater heights. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. I know we gave you a couple of tough questions, but you managed to stick them out. Very proud of you. So Michael Franti, say hey on your best mix of music. 3 minutes to 8.